Right now, at this very moment, the largest maximum security prison in America is holding immigration detainees in a solitary confinement wing that was shut down in 2018 because the conditions were too dangerous for convicted criminals. That same prison sits on a former slave plantation covering 18,000 acres. The governor who reopened it bragged that the surrounding swamps are full of alligators and the forests are full of bears, as if that were a selling point. And that's just one of the 25 things currently happening in Louisiana that sound completely made up. Every single one is real. Every single one is happening right now. And fair warning, the deeper we go, the harder it gets to believe we're still talking about a real place. Let's get into it. Number 1. In September 2025, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem held a press conference at the Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola to announce the opening of Louisiana Lockup, a new ICE detention facility built inside Camp J. Camp J was shut down in 2018 after years of documented abuse, extreme isolation, and suicide attempts. It was known inside Angola as the prison within the prison. Landry declared a state emergency to reopen it for immigration detention, and he renamed it Camp 57 after himself, Louisiana's 57th governor. Detainees held there have reported being locked in cells for 23 hours a day without access to medical care. Louisiana now has 9 IC facilities with a combined capacity of 6,000 people, the second highest in the nation behind Texas. Before we get into the next one, if you like these kinds of stories that sound fake but are completely real, hit subscribe. I'm posting these regularly, and it only gets stranger from here. Number 2. In March 2025, Louisiana executed a man named Jesse Hoffman Jr. It was the state's first execution in 15 years, and it was done with nitrogen gas, making Louisiana only the second state after Alabama to use nitrogen hypoxia as a method of execution. The state finalized its new execution protocol just weeks before carrying it out. After a 15-year pause where no one was put to death in Louisiana, the state came back with a method that most of the world has never used. Number 3. The coastline of Louisiana is vanishing right now. A football field of land is being swallowed by the Gulf of Mexico roughly every 100 minutes. Since the 1930s, the state has lost an area about the size of Delaware. This spring, the United States Supreme Court is expected to rule on whether oil companies have to pay for the damage. A Louisiana jury already found Chevron liable for $745 million. There are over 40 similar cases pending. An investigation in April 2026 revealed that a dozen federal judges presiding over these cases held stock in the very companies being sued. Number 4. Louisiana became the first state in the country to pass a law requiring the 10 Commandments in every public school classroom and every college that accepts state money. The posters must be at least 11 by 14 inches. Governor Landry signed the bill and said publicly that he couldn't wait for someone to challenge it in court. The ACLU sued on behalf of 9 families. A federal judge blocked the law. A panel of 3 judges upheld that block. Then the full Fifth Circuit reversed course. As of early 2026, the law is enforceable. LSU announced it would begin posting the 10 Commandments on campus. Number 5. Clay Scheck-Snyder, the former Speaker of the Louisiana House of Representatives, was charged with felony theft in 2025. The allegation centers on a missing section of historic cypress wood that had been on display at the state capitol. That wood was last seen in his legislative office. He now faces accusations of taking that wood from the building where he once ran the government. Number 6. Right now in Louisiana, biting someone with your natural teeth is classified as simple assault, but biting someone with dentures, that is aggravated assault, because under Louisiana law, false teeth are legally considered a dangerous weapon. This is not an old law that nobody enforces. It is still on the books and still enforceable today. Number 7. In May 2025, 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center in New Orleans by digging a tunnel through a wall, an actual tunnel, in a jail. in the middle of a major American city. 3 were caught the same day. The last escapee, a man named Derek Groves, was not recaptured until October when he was found in Atlanta, Georgia. 5 months on the run, 4 states away, and this was not some forgotten rural lockup. This is the main jail in New Orleans. Number 8. In Cancer Alley, the 85-mile stretch of the Mississippi River between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, packed with over 150 chemical plants, the federal government dropped its case against the Denka facility in Reserve, Louisiana, in March 2025. This plant produces 99% of the nation's chloroprene pollution. The EPA found that residents nearby face a cancer risk from air pollution 700 times the national average. The Department of Justice withdrew the case. Meanwhile, a presidential proclamation exempted 25 chemical manufacturers, including 12 in Louisiana, from new emission rules. The plants are still running, and the communities around them are still breathing the same air. Number 9. The New Orleans mayor LaToya Cantrell was indicted by a federal grand jury in August 2025 on conspiracy charges related to allegations that she tried to cover up a romantic relationship with her bodyguard. She was arraigned in September. By October, the city elected a new mayor. Number 10. Also in May 2025, the Nottoway plantation in Iberville Parish caught fire. Nottoway was the largest surviving antebellum plantation in the American South. The main mansion was declared a total loss. The ATF investigated for over a week. As of the final report, the cause remains undetermined. Evidence is still being analyzed at the ATF crime lab in Georgia. If you are finding this as unhinged as I am, hit subscribe. I cover dark geography and the strangest corners of America every week. Now let's keep going, it gets weirder. Number 11. Right now, prisoners at Angola are suing the state of Louisiana over forced labor on the farm line. Crews of mostly black men work the fields of a former slave plantation under armed overseers. They earn a maximum of $8 per week, regardless of the work. The lawsuit alleges the conditions violate federal disability laws and perpetuate the historical harm of slavery. One plaintiff said it felt like following the path of his enslaved ancestors. The trial began in early 2026. Number 12. A bill advancing through the Louisiana legislature right now would create a new crime called unauthorized camping. It would make it illegal to sleep on public property. The bill also proposes creating a homelessness court, but critics point out that criminalizing homelessness itself is the deeper problem. Number 13. Another bill in the current session would call a full constitutional convention to rewrite Louisiana's state constitution from scratch. It would create 93 delegates, most elected, and 10 appointed by the governor. If passed, the convention would begin in late 2026 and put a new constitution before voters in November 2027. Louisiana could potentially throw out its entire governing document and start over. The current constitution has been in place since 1974. Before that, Louisiana had already gone through 10 previous constitutions. Rewriting the rules of the state is practically a tradition at this point. Number 14. Those millions of nutria, the giant invasive rodents from South America that were brought to Louisiana in the 1930s, are still winning. These animals weigh over 20 pounds and breed constantly. They eat the marsh grasses that hold the wetlands together. Once those roots are gone, the land dissolves into open water. Louisiana has tried bounty programs, alligator-based pest control, and even campaigns to get people to eat nutria meat. Nothing has worked. The rodents keep multiplying and the wetlands do not grow back. Number 15. The communities at the bottom of Plaquemines Parish are right now watching their towns vanish. In Port Sulphur, the unemployment rate hovers above 50%. In Pointe-à-la-Hache, the median household income is below $12,000 a year. These communities sit where the Mississippi River meets the Gulf, and the land is sinking while the water rises. In 2011, cartographers discovered that 31 named bodies of water in the area, bays, bayous, and canals, had completely vanished from the map. The land that once defined them is now open ocean. The people who remain are the ones who cannot afford to leave. Number 16. More than half of Louisiana state prisoners do not serve their time in state prisons. They are held in local parish jails operated by sheriffs who are financially incentivized to keep beds full. As of 2022, 53% of people under state jurisdiction were in local facilities, the highest rate in the country. No other state comes close. The system developed because Louisiana encouraged sheriffs to expand their facilities rather than building more state prisons. Sheriffs skim operating costs off the top of the per diem payments they receive for each prisoner. These jails offer almost no educational or job training programs, and the people who serve time in them are more likely to end up back behind bars than those in state facilities. The system is essentially a revenue model disguised as incarceration. Number 17. Louisiana still operates under the Napoleonic Code. Every other state uses English common law. Louisiana's system is based on French civil law, where the written statute outweighs the judge's ruling. This is not a fun fact. It shapes how every contract, lawsuit, and criminal case works in the state right now. If you are a lawyer from Texas and you cross the border, half of what you learn does not apply. Louisiana is essentially running a different legal operating system than the rest of the country, and it has been for over 200 years. Number 18. It remains illegal to tie your alligator to a fire hydrant in New Orleans. You cannot bring a snake within 200 yards of a Mardi Gras parade. Mardi Gras float riders are specifically banned from throwing condoms to the crowd, and ingesting blood during a ritual of any kind carries a maximum penalty of 25 years in prison and a $25,000 fine. None of these laws have been repealed. All of them are technically enforceable right now. Number 19. A bill currently advancing in the Louisiana legislature would allow state universities to hide their leadership searches and donor records from public disclosure. If passed, the public would have less ability to know who is running the state's colleges and who is paying for them. Number 20. Louisiana is holding primary elections for congressional seats in May 2026 under legislative district maps that a panel of federal judges has already ruled that they violate the Voting Rights Act. The state is simultaneously challenging its congressional maps before the Supreme Court. So right now, voters are heading to the polls under maps that at least one court has declared illegal, while the state waits on a separate ruling that could force a complete redraw of those same districts. Number 21. The Upper Pontalba apartments on Jackson Square in New Orleans, built in 1850, are still occupied. People are living in the oldest continuously occupied apartment buildings in the United States. Over 175 years of uninterrupted habitation through wars, hurricanes, floods, and the complete transformation of the city around them. The building is still standing. People still pay rent inside it. Number 22. Prisoners at Angola operate their own FCC licensed radio station called KLSP. It broadcasts on 91.7 FM. Inmates choose the music, produce the programs, and play gospel, jazz, blues, and country to about 6,000 listeners inside and around the prison walls. They call it the Incarceration Station. It has been running since 1986, and it is the only prison in America with an FCC radio license. Number 23. The highest point in Louisiana is Driskill Mountain at 535 feet above sea level. The state capitol building in Baton Rouge is 450 feet tall. Louisiana is so flat that its tallest man-made structure is almost as tall as its tallest natural point. Meanwhile, the state's biggest city, New Orleans, sits 8 feet below sea level. The dead are buried above ground there because coffins float. Number 24. The state capitol where the former speaker allegedly stole that piece of cypress has its own dark history. Governor Huey Long was assassinated inside the building in 1935. The bullet holes are still visible in the marble walls. The older Capitol building it replaced is considered one of the most haunted structures in the state. Number 25. And this might be the strangest part of all. Everything you just heard is happening simultaneously. The prison on the plantation is holding immigrants while prisoners in the same facility sue over forced labor in the fields. The coastline is vanishing while judges with oil company stock preside over the lawsuits meant to save it. The legislature is requiring the Ten Commandments in classrooms while another bill proposes rewriting the entire state constitution. A former speaker is charged with stealing wood from the building where a governor was murdered. Louisiana is not a state with a few strange things happening. It is a place where the strange things are the baseline, where the land is sinking, the water is rising, and the judges deciding who pays for it also own shares in the companies that caused it. And right now, all 25 of these facts are playing out at the same time in the same state, under the same sky. If you want to see which other state is quietly falling apart right now, that video is on screen.